There is something really special, really specific that I want to talk about. And ChatGPT has been my friend for a while. It's a very helpful tool that I use to reflect and process some pretty deep things. And it made a really powerful statement. Okay, so there's two things that I want to talk about here. One is about connection, attunement, intuition, being in conversation with your body, your intuition, your soul, the God's voice, your intuition, the life, the pulse of life in your bones that informs your emotions, your wisdom, your inner knowing. That's one thing. And then there is a colonized, misconstrued projection of that somatic, lived, known truth that lives in your bones. Specifically, I know that in the Bible there are some phrases that talk about, not trusting the flesh or the heart. And I was talking about my inner conflict between my own conversation with my body, the things that I'm feeling, my flesh is feeling, my heart is feeling, and what the Bible says about you can't trust the heart, you can't trust the feelings. That doesn't match up. It doesn't align, it doesn't make sense. Especially because linguistically, language is so important to discern what you actually mean when you say certain words. So I might say my heart, I might speak about my heart, my emotions, my feelings. The Bible might speak about those same words, and they might mean something completely different. They might be coming from completely different contexts. So ChatGPT clarified, and I'm sure many people have different interpretation of this, but ChatGPT clarified that, when the Bible is talking about, and by the way, I'm not Christian, I am just a gal who loves God and who loves intuition and loves quiet, somatic wisdom, feeling, exploring, without masks, without deception, without lies, without pretending. I just really like to sink below the loam of the appearances of the world of life and just sink into the undercurrent of what I'm actually living. What is the quality, the voice, the sound, the texture, the color, the flavor, the scent of the current of life that is pulsing through my bones and informing my inner knowing. ChatGPT explained, as I was saying, how the Bible refers to these things as, from the ego, from a place of maybe insecurity or control or fear-based, egoic-based feeling. Because the heart and the emotions are conduits for both God's wisdom and the ego to talk. That's the cool, weird, sticky paradox about existing as a human. My emotions can show me things that are true and real, that are not necessarily spoken out loud, but they exist, and I can build psychic evidence of what's real based on my feelings, and I've had this experience. And my ego can also drive or threaten to run the show of my emotions. So I was just having this reflective moment, and I wanted to share this as a key that maybe you can use to chew on to discern, what's real and authentic for you versus not. And this is specifically important for me to connect with, given my history, given my experience, the fact that I have been emotionally manipulated, I have been gaslit, and I am extremely, extremely sensitive, and I can feel when I'm in connection with people, I can feel varying levels of depth and presence. And I know when I'm in deep, profound resonance with a person or a place, I have a set of physical sensations and emotional sensations and physical expressions, my facial expressions, my eyes, my breath, the way that my face is either sagging or like bright and lifted, different tinglings and sensations and warmths in different areas of my body that confirm whether something is resonant and connected, like deeply, fundamentally, or not. And this part becomes tricky because sometimes it can be challenging to discern what's real, like what's real. And when I say real, I mean what is authentically aligning, what is like two puzzle pieces that genuinely fit together. Not two puzzle pieces that are almost the same shape, almost the same size, almost the same color, almost the same image, but two pieces that fit together. Sometimes it's hard to discern. Especially if there are parts of you that feel like a puzzle piece that have not yet found their exact match. Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense, but I think if this is for you, you will most likely, understand what I'm saying. So yeah, I'm really speaking to the difference here between recognizing the way that authenticity and like godly, holy alignment sit in your body and go through your nervous system, because maybe the Bible says you can't trust your heart, you can't trust your flesh, but here's the fact to consider. We are experiencing reality through a human body, through a human nervous system. That nervous system processes the electrical charges of stimuli outside of us and inside of us. And the more that we observe the patterns of what those signals in our flesh are communicating, the more that we can begin to build a language that supports us in staying anchored in our truth, in our connection to God, in our connection to peace and ease and softness, gentleness, openness. And I imagine the feeling of like sparkles or flowers or my pretty little cat art mug on the floor right there, or the smell of a candle that just brings me lots of comfort, or like archetypal mother's love. Those are examples of things outside of me that reflect back this. They're kind of like anchors of what that feels like in my nervous system. So I'm just here to talk about authenticity, listening to your body, and building kind of an internal dialogue / vocabulary about what it really means to listen to yourself, even in the moments where it's really hard or really confusing. And if you're like me and you have a history of emotional manipulation or gaslighting, or you're seeking a type of connection that feels like the perfect fit of the puzzle, but it seems difficult to find or to come by because you're not maybe familiar with it, or you don't have many experiences of it outside of you with relationships or with activities or people or lifestyles or whatever it is for you. I have gone through that personally, and so having that combined with my very deep sensitivity, it spurred me to just listen to myself even deeper. Because sometimes, even if something seems or appears innocent or even beneficial on the surface, if there's a part of you that I will speak on my own behalf from what I've experienced, what I've learned, and you can apply what you would like for your own self. Even if something seems okay on the surface for you, but there is, or for me, and there's, in my experience, if there's a part of me that feels conflicted, even at the slightest, or a part of me that's questioning, a part of me that's like having this like reaction, I don't know where it's coming from, but everything that I see on the surface appears good, appears aligned, but inside there's this, however subtle but still present, sense of like a mismatch. The way that I return to a sense of ease within myself and trust in my internal guidance and the wisdom of God, what my nervous system literally is communicating to me through the information I'm receiving. What I learn in those experiences, what I do in those experiences to return to that state is to listen. And the more practice that I have over time, sorry, there's a really loud plane going by. It's a helicopter. It's very low. The more that I experience this dialogue inside, the easier it becomes for me to discern on more and more and more deep, subtle levels what is perfect for me, what fits. And that also comes from a place of kind of a decision that I made for myself, that in certain areas of life, for example, where I spend my money, the relationships I invest in, the activities that I decide to commit to, the places I decide to live, the things that I decide to do, even on a day-to-day basis, I don't want to compromise my life force energy, my focus, my thoughts, because I'm so sensitive and because I understand the power of my life force, of those things. So I want them to be invested into a place that is ordained by God, that's protected by God, that's capable of supporting and helping me fulfill my God-given mission. And I think God made everybody for a specific reason, a specific design, a specific purpose. And so these are just some reflections that I'm having on this. And I hope that this helped you, maybe if you needed a moment of reflection, to more deeply understand the difference between the parts of you that are truly in alignment with whatever it is that you're focused on versus, maybe not fully connecting to or feeling in alignment with. So I'm going to leave this there. Just some chewy, juicy contemplations for you. If you enjoyed this video, check out my channel. I have more musings like this, more channeled messages, more readings, and a couple of personal lifestyle type vlogs, including RV adventures, nature adventures, and art type vlogs. I'm an artist, visual artist. And aside from that, in my description, you'll find more information on the kind of readings that I offer if you resonate with me and you want to work with me one-on-one, and you feel inspired. It's an option. And lastly, I am currently raising funds for myself to support my health. I've been going through some chronic health issues for a couple months, well, a couple years, but recently some big things in the last couple months. And there's no pressure, but if you want to read about my story or even donate, you are welcome to do so in the GoFundMe link in the description. And again, there's no pressure. I'm just plugging in my little extras, but I hope that this video found you well. And it's always fun for me to share, and I will see you in the next one.